Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw. Today I'm reviewing the brand new studio album from Cannibal Corpse entitled Skeletal Domain. Let's jump into this record. So if you've been a fan of Cannibal Corpse for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years, all of your life, you know what to expect from Cannibal Corpse at this point. The death metal legends are back once again in 2014 with their 13th studio album, A Skeletal Domain. And I went into this album expecting some things to happen. I was expecting some twists and turns along the way, but I had a good idea of what to expect from this album because Cannibal Corpse have not really detoured away from the path that they've basically set themselves on years and years and years ago. So if you go into this album with that mindset, with I know what I'm expecting, I know what to expect, and there might be some twists and turns that I'm going to enjoy, and you know what you're getting, essentially. From a Cannibal Corpse album, you go into this album thinking that you're going to enjoy this record for what it is, you're going to like this album, and I think you're going to listen to this album on repeat, and you're going to enjoy it and put it into your collection of music you listen to. But if you go into this album, or any particular Cannibal Corpse record, but as we're talking about Skeletal Domain today, if you go into this album expecting Cannibal Corpse to step outside of the box and do crazy stuff that they've not done before, you're going to be disappointed. So at this point, I did not expect Cannibal Corpse to do anything too crazy and hectic, but throughout this record, and will say this is a positive, and I do enjoy this, A Skeletal Domain features some twists and turns that you are not expecting within the music, but also has those familiar moments where you know what's happening, you know how the song's going to go just by the intro, and you know that the intensity is there, the brutality is there, the darkness from the lyrical content and the vocals. You expect all that there. The blast beating, it's all there. The double bassing to the intense extreme is there. The guitar solos that are shreddy and hectic and in your face are here. So if you are expecting all those things and you love those things from Cannibal Corpse and everything involved, the intense bass, the intense riffs, everything that I've said, this album is for you. You will enjoy this record. For me, this album I consider to be a strong Cannibal Corpse record. It features songs that, and I personally believe, that stand out from the others in the sense of where they have these unique things going for them. They have these unique transitions, they have the unique songwriting, and it has very unique riffs, and I really enjoy that because these songs that stand out kind of show that Cannibal Corpse, I think, paid a little bit more attention to these songs and really try to add a little bit more into these songs to kind of make them, like I said, stand out. And so I have to give them that. Let me go through my favorite songs, and I just love listing off some of these songs and some of their past work because they come up with the most unique names for songs. It's really, really crazy. Let me go through some of my favorite songs now. I will say this, before I go through my list, all of the songs in this album I consider are good songs in their own right, and they do feature things that I like, and they do feature things that sometimes maybe I don't like. But for the most part, all of the songs in this album, all 12 tracks, I consider to be good songs, but these are the ones that I consider my favorite, the ones that stand out for many different reasons. Let me go through those. So, like I said, these song titles, man, they're very unique. Track number 1, High Velocity Impact Spatter. Now, to start off with this, I want to say that this is a very strong song. It's a really eerie opening. It's kind of building. You just hear it's the fade in, it's coming in, and the band slams you. I love that riff that opens up, and it's a very intense track, and it's setting you up for yet once again another brutal Cannibal Corpse record. Sadistic Embodiment, track number 2, which was the single, which I really enjoyed the single. Now, within the comment section, you can kind of see where fans are at with the band at this point, because since it's their 13th album, this is the single. The comments were varying between this is so brutal and hectic, and to like, oh my god, I'm so tired of this band, blah blah blah. For the most part, it was a positive. So if you enjoyed the single, Sadistic Embodiment, track number 2, if you enjoyed that single when it came out, you're going to enjoy this record. Track number 3, Kill or Become. Track number 4, the title track, A Skeletal Domain. I love the song. It has moments where it just holds the riff, it just holds that chord, and then it comes back, it hits a couple more, and then bam, holds that whole thing again. It's really, really cool how they do that. Headlong into Carnage, track number 5. Track number 6, The Murderer's Pact. And this is a song smack right dab in the middle that I consider to be a very strong song. It really holds up to this point, as I've named of all the first 6 songs, including track number 6, The Murderer's Pact, as the opening first 6 tracks are just intense, and they are very, very strong songs. The Murderer's Pact holds strong, it fades out, it's not like an abrupt end, this song fades out, and I really enjoy that, and the song features a blistering guitar solo, as all the guitar solos are great, but I really specifically love this solo for what it is. Funeral, Cremation, I love the opening of this album. It has a very fast, intense riff, and I enjoy the idea of this song. It's just very, very awesome. Bloodstained Cement, track number 10. Love that song to death. It's a very catchy song, and I really enjoy the chorus of that. Let's see if I can pronounce this correct. Asphyxiate to Resuscitate. I probably butchered that, but track number 11. There's a very groovy riff that I really enjoy, and it's a very intense riff, but it's really catchy, so I really enjoy that. And track number 12, Hollowed Bodies. Track number 12, which is a closer. It's only it's a little bit over 3 minutes in length, so I was expecting maybe the final track would be a little bit longer song and have a lot of these more epic moments where the band ends off at a very intense thing. But Hollowed Bodies, for what it is, the final track, I think is a good song. Now, there was a couple of those I left off, and for what it is, it's not too big of a negative to where the rating of this album I'm going to specifically give at the end of this review, it's going to be really low because, oh, it's a negative. It's a thing of where there's a couple of songs, the ones that I didn't name, they don't have really anything going on except for the main idea of the song. There's nothing really to add to them that were added to them to make me go, well, this song stands out. For the most part, I've named off most of the songs, and most of those songs that I named off, all the ones I named, are standout tracks. Now, the ones I didn't name, for a couple of different reasons, they really just didn't have that thing to make them stand out like the other ones. They were good songs for what they were, but they could have had a little bit more added to them to kind of make them feel unique in a way and kind of stand out a little bit more. So it's not necessarily a humongous negative, but for what it is, these songs, all the songs are great, all 12 of them are. But the ones I named are, I think, fantastic songs, and the ones I didn't are still good songs, but they could have had something a little bit more to go for them. So, let me go through, actually, the personnels. We go through this, and before the personnel, I do want to say the production and the sound of this album is fantastic. If you're a fan of Cannibal Corpse and you want to hear every single note, and you want to hear the bass, you want to hear the drums, you want to hear the vocals, you want to hear everything at top notch, and it's all clear, and you can hear every little bits and pieces of what's going on within these songs, this album is for you because the production on this album is very, very good. Now, to some fans, you may not like that, but for me, I personally do, because then I can hear everything that's going on with this intense and insane album, so I really do enjoy the production of this album. I understand if some fans don't because of their older albums the production was not crystal clear and perfect, but at least for this album, it does sound a lot better, and you can hear every little thing that's going on, so for me, as a listener of music, I do enjoy that. Now, personnel, as we go through this. Corpsegrinder, of course, on vocals. This guy is showing that, as the rest of the band as well as we go through them, that age does not matter. They've been doing this for a long, long time, and Corpsegrinder once again brings the intense vocals, the lyrical content, which, man, the lyrical content that he is screaming to on this album is once again dark, evil, and all of those words. So there's nothing really changed there. I think his vocals, his range is still there. The lows are still great. The middles and the high screams are still intense and insane. So there's nothing really, his vocals are definitely not deteriorating at this point. He still has very, very strong vocals, and he is still the voice of Cannibal Corpse. So Corpsegrinder, once again, brings his A game and delivers very, very well. Alex Webster on bass, of course, the bass is turn up on this album. You can hear every little note he's playing, and when he's playing these very, very hectic riffs with the rhythm guitars and, of course, the drums, the bass stands out. The bass adds the heaviness to this album, and Alex, once again, does a fantastic job. I mean, I'm going to give praise to all of them, but I always go through them. Pat O'Brien and Rob on guitar, man, both guitars. The rhythm playing on this album is insane. Some of these riffs are very, very catchy, and then the other riffs are just insane, brutal, technical, and then in your face. So I love the fact that there are some catchy riffs that I can really latch onto and enjoy the grooviness and the bobbing your head and enjoying it, and then the technical riffs where you really got to pay attention to every single note and every single chord that's being played to really understand what's going on. The guitar solos are just to die for on this album. They're shreddy. They're not really melodic. There's not a lot of melodic things going on within this album, guitar solo-wise. But I feel like that the actual solos are just hectic and insane, what you'd expect, and they really do fit with these songs. And when those solos comes up, that is the main focus. That's the thing you need to pay attention to. Why am I telling you this? You know that. For the guitar solos, man, I love them. I keep listening to them over and over and over. When the solo ends, I like to back up a little bit and hear it again because they're just intense and insane. I'm sometimes questioning, how is that being played? I want to see a playthrough of these solos. They're really, really catchy and really awesome. Paul on drums. The drumming on this album is once again insane and brutal. The double bass is very, very loud, but not to the point where it's overpowering everything else. But when the blast beats come in, they're insane. It's not like 100% blast beating as the typical, the typical thing people like to say. Well, all death metal is, blast beating, and that's it. And that's not the case at all. The blast beating is present on this album. It does happen quite a few times, and it does happen within almost every song. Probably every song at this point. But the drumming does vary. There are a lot of interesting drum patterns, and there's a lot of great drum fills from him. So, if you come here to expect some intense drumming and intense playing on the drum kit, you get that here once again on this album. Skeletal Domain is an album that I consider to be one of their better albums. I'm definitely not saying it's their best album, and it's far from being one of their worst albums. This album, I think, has a lot of things going for it. The band still sounds fresh. The ideas for this album still sound fresh. The songs are amazing. The songs are great. The production on this album is great. And the guys show that, once again, we've been doing this for a long time. We're going to continue to do so because the creativity is still there, and they're still pushing out albums that are still great. So Skeletal Domain, 8 out of 10. It might be an 8.25, maybe an 8.5, but for right now it's an 8 out of 10. That's a solid album. It's a strong album, and I definitely recommend, if you're a death metal fan, a Cannibal Corpse fan, anything, check out this album, see what you think about it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this album. So anyways, guys, that's the review. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, like the video. If you want to see me or more of my stuff, click my name or subscribe to see more. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.